And he's also ably assisted by barrel-emptying battle dwarf Kylie Minogue. Fantastic. Quite literally.
The fight sequences in this obviously had to have greater fantasy towards them because it came from the video game. The expectations of the young audience would be that human beings could do what these computer-generated characters could do on the screen, and they couldn't let them down.
Look, he's kicked him so hard the entire building's exploded.
The reality that he was famous for at the beginning and the really precise fight scenes have now disappeared. And at the same time, there's this parallel that perhaps he has lost contact with reality, and his own life is now a huge kind of fantasy bubble.
Jean-Claude fell into this pit of personal problems. Those personal problems really just destroyed his focus for a number of years.
Things had indeed been getting a bit tasty ever since Darcy Lapierre had entered JC's life. By the mid-90s, his clean-cut Hollywood hero image was itself taking a Van Damme-style kicking.
It was like just a kid in a candy store, not understanding what Hollywood is about.
If you take the candy, then your teeth are going to rot out.
Somebody who's in the news over here is Jean-Claude Van Damme for all the wrong reasons.
There were a lot of sort of kiss and tell tabloid headlines at this time, and it must have been like a living nightmare for him.
He's sort of surrounded by mess, isn't he? And he keeps walking into it.
Hollywood hardman Jean-Claude Van Damme is battling against cocaine addiction.
Spending £5,000 a week on the drug. His friends are said to be shocked at the news, as he's always steered clear of drink and drugs, claiming those who did drugs didn't deserve to live.
It's just a body, it's an envelope, and it's a wonderful envelope. I put my envelope through a lots of pain.
What are you going to tell your kid? What are you going to say to your wife? Are you going into rehab?
From the mind who was not there, who was listening to the body.
He's not really there. That's a shame, poor man.
Oh,
he's obviously got a big problem, and he's in a clinic now, we believe, so we do wish him the best. We do.
How are you? All right, how you doing today? Good. What's wrong with you? You want to punch me? No, I don't want to punch you. You think because you're a celebrity you can go around beating people up? I'm not doing this. I'm a normal guy.
He told an interviewer that he was in a luxurious hotel room and he'd taken an awful lot of cocaine, and suddenly he saw his own dead body on the floor in front of him. And he realized then that, you know, he's got to give up drugs for good.
And then thank God, because of my martial art and my sport, I was able to put the mind where it belonged, you know? I can talk to you about it, but this body is such a good body. Such a good body. I mean, I've got to be nice to it.
Time to attempt the greatest comeback since, oh, I don't know, Kylie. And it began in earnest with an acrimonious divorce, ending disastrous marriage number 4, leaving JC free to remarry wife number 3.
The best thing he did is to go back with Gladys. That's the best thing he did.
Gladys stood by him through a lot of shit. She's someone that can actually save him from himself, because there are demons in him.
Gladys, ma belle-sœur, Gladys, Gladys c'est ma sœur, c'est tout, Gladys.
Gladys, my sister-in-law, she's my sister, she's everything. She's my brother's only wife, my daughter's second mother. I love Gladys very much. She's done so much for my brother, and I hope they stay together for the rest of their lives.
She's a better person than I am. Let's put it that way. And I try my best to become as good as her in this lifetime.
When you're around someone that's with high demand, you need to know, as the wife, that this is part of the package, you know. And if you can't deal with it, then you already have a problem with your relationship.
C'est une sainte. She's a saint. I really love Gladys. Voila.
Voila. You just tell each other what you think and what you feel. Never hold any anger. I let him know.
Let me know what?
I let you know that if your feet stink, I let you know if your feet stink.
Unfortunately for Gladys, stinky feet were an inevitable byproduct of JC's career rehab. Well, they were when he, like so many before him, tried to cast off the mistakes of the past and rebuild a brave new future by joining the Foreign Legion.
I was bored, and part of my going down in life, it was also part of that doing the same, and you've got to change and try to become an actor.
The only thing that keeps a man living, got to have a dream.
In Legionnaire, I thought he really worked hard, and one of the reasons is we really gave him a very good cast. We had Stephen Burkoff and Nicholas Farrell, so that was a real education for Jean-Claude.
This is the Legion! You march or you die! What is this march or die?
I think it is possible to make your presence known by facial expressions with intensity.
You have to compress your emotion. Like right now, I go too much outside. If a guy is like an actor, right, and he show happiness, and he's just like with his eyes like that. And that's acting.
He's not a bad actor. And I think the less he does the high kicks and the more he smoulders and the less he says, probably to him is him coming across as a more intelligent, deep-thinking person.
Predictably, many critics have remained less than eager to embrace the muscles from Brussels as a serious theft, though his brooding screen presence has earned him some unlikely allies.
Most of these critics are part lobotomized. They've been brought up to think that the spoken word is of a greater value than the silent physical thing. It's not just about, you know, sitting on a sofa with a fat ass spouting Chekhov.
You comprehend my words? I see that you don't.
We did a shower scene in Legionnaire, and he said, if my butt comes on the screen, it's worth another couple of million. So I thought, well, probably that might help us out.
Line up, ladies! Time for your bidet!
But I must say, it was a time I had more of the ladies on the crew watching the video that day than any other day. I could hardly get to the screen myself, so it obviously does work.
The homoeroticism in the movies is just one of the things that is unavoidable. Stripped naked in the showers. If that just isn't sort of pandering to the gay audience, I don't know what is. But he's very good about that. I think he actually acknowledges that, and he doesn't mind it, and I think that's actually very good.
Thankfully, there was also plenty of fighting, but despite lofty ambitions,
The Legion is a family!
sumptuous locations, and gun-tastic action set pieces, it was the first of JC's mainstream movies not released in cinemas, though it did prove a hit on the rentals market.
If you go straight to video and you actually do make a profit and return, that's actually all that Hollywood cares about, really. If you keep making the money, then people will continue to make movies with you. I mean, they may not be the kind of movies that the critics love, but as long as people actually take it out on video or DVD, then that's what counts.
In our culture, a man who has courage is valued above all. For this reason, I will allow you to live.